our third wedding anniversary, and it also happened to be my 27th birthday. My wife, Ryan Liu, gave me a very special gift. A set of divorce papers. Ryan calmly picked up her pen, and signed her name in the bottom left corner of the papers. Then she slid them across the table to me. Zhuang has a really difficult temper. He's so hard to please, she said. The only way he'll ever accept me is if I get a divorce first. I've already signed my part. You should sign it too. Don't worry, it's just for show. Her voice was completely flat, without a single trace of emotion, as if she were just asking what we should have for dinner tonight. Even though I don't really pay attention to her personal life anymore, the endless gossip all over the internet, made it impossible for me not to know who JoJo Wang was. He was the hot new male celebrity her company had just signed. In his early 20s, right at that vibrant, youthful age. What really caught everyone's attention, though, was that Ryan had been publicly, chasing after him for nearly 2 months. Yet, he hadn't budged at all. In the past, those guys wouldn't even last a month, before Ryan completely lost interest. But this JoJo Wang was different. Not only did he break her record, but he actually drove her to ask me for a fake divorce. I took the papers from her, a bitter smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. Is this the gift you got for me? It's certainly unique. As soon as I said that, a rare look of confusion crossed Ryan's face. But then, she seemed to realize what day it was. A faint flash of guilt appeared in her eyes. I've been busy on set lately trying to make things right with Zhuang. So I completely forgot today was our anniversary and your birthday. I'm sorry. I'll have my assistant send over a proper gift later. Out with the old, in with the new, huh? I scoffed, my voice dripping with sarcasm. No need. After all, we're getting a divorce anyway. You should save that gift for someone else. Hearing this, Liu Ryan furrowed her brow. She argued back that it was just a fake divorce. We're just signing a divorce agreement to humor that young kid. It's not like we're actually going to get a real divorce, right? But I had already decided to turn this act into reality and actually divorce her. I didn't say a word. I simply picked up, the pen and signed my name, Li Chengxin, stroke by stroke, putting a final close to our 3-year marriage. Once I finished signing, Liu Ryan let out a sigh of relief. She snapped a photo of the divorce agreement and made a call. I didn't know what the person on the other end said, but her mood visibly brightened. Softening her voice, she cooed, I'm divorced now. Now we can finally be together out in the open. Be a good boy and wait for me on set. I'm coming to pick you up so we can celebrate. After hanging up, she stood up, grabbed her coat, and headed out the door. Just as she was about to close the door, she seemed to remember something and looked back at me. Today, is the first day Zhuang agreed to be with me. I need to be there for him. Next year, I'll make sure to celebrate your birthday and our anniversary with you. With that, she eagerly shut the door, rushing off to find her young puppy boyfriend. Naturally, she didn't hear my quiet response. There is no next year for us. After the roar of the car faded into the distance, I went upstairs and opened the safe. I reached all the way to the back, and pulled out our marriage certificates. Opening the red cover, 2 bright, smiling faces came into view. It was me at 26, and Liu Ryan at 24. The two of us were leaning close together, our eyes overflowing with love for each other, and hope for our marriage. My gaze, could in single quotes T help but fall on the signed divorce agreement. But how did we ever end up like this? I still remember the first time I met Liu Ryan. It was at a rap party. Back then, I was still a complete rookie in the entertainment industry. I happened to run into her around a corner, clutching her stomach. Her face was completely pale. Realizing she was suffering from a stomachache after drinking too much, I handed her a bottle of yogurt from my bag. That one simple act of kindness made her notice me. Eventually, that interest blossomed into love. But Liu Ryan was the young mistress of the powerful Liu family, a true heiress of high society. She belonged to a social class that an ordinary person like me could never reach. I knew my place. How could a wealthy heiress like her actually fall for an ordinary guy like me? I figured she just found me amusing and wanted to play around. So, I rejected her without a second thought. To my surprise, Liu Ryan didn't give up. Instead, she stayed by my side constantly. The high-end mighty young mistress practically became my personal assistant. She'd personally cook and bring me meals during exhausting back-to-back shoots. When I got sick, she'd anxiously rush me to the hospital. And whenever I finished filming underwater scenes, she was always the first to hand me a towel. I'm not made of stone. Surrounded by her warmth day after day, I slowly fell for her. But what completely won my heart was an accident. There was a mishap during a wire drop stunt. Just as I was about to crash to the ground, Liu Ryan used her own body to cushion my fall. I walked away without a scratch, but she ended up with 2 broken ribs. After we finally got together, Liu Ryan told her family that she would marry no one else but me. Even when they threatened her with family punishment, she refused to back down. I didn't want to hold her back, so I worked myself to the bone, taking on every role I could. It took me for years to climb my way up to winning Best Actor, which finally earned me a shred of acceptance from the Liu family. On our wedding day, the entire internet wished us a lifetime of happiness. Some even remarked that Liu Ryan was a rare, devoted lover from a wealthy family. I thought so, too. I thought our marriage would stay sweet until we grew old together. But in our 2nd year of marriage, a hickey appeared on Liu Ryan's neck. The first time I saw it, I completely froze. I couldn't even think. A grown man like me, just sitting on the sofa, tears streaming through my fingers. Yet, normally so proud, she knelt before me and swore that it was just a setup by her business rivals. She promised she would never do it again. Thinking of our years of love and history, I chose to forgive her. But soon after, she started staying out all night, countless times, like a madman. I called her, screaming and demanding answers. I tracked her down, and when she finally came home, it would trigger yet another hysterical, screaming match. But Liu Ryan would just stand there, watching me vent. And then she'd calmly tell me to let it go. In our circle, no one stays faithful for a lifetime, she'd say. No one has just one man. All you need to know is that you're the only one I love, and the position of the husband of the CEO of Liu Group will always be yours. That should be enough. It wasn't just Liu Ryan, though. Everyone around me was telling me the same thing. Those toy boys outside are just passing phases, they said. As long as you hold on to the title of President Liu's husband, you're fine. She will always come back home in the end. All you have to do is wait. So I waited, and I waited. I waited until today. Now, Liu Ryan is asking for a fake divorce just to appease her younger boyfriend. The moment I saw her sign her name, the shackles on my heart were suddenly broken. Did I marry her for the wealth and power of the Liu family? No. It was solely for the pure love we once shared. But now, that love has long turned into a heap of rotting mud, reeking with a foul stench. Even our marriage, which used to be so real, she can use as a toy to appease her younger boyfriend. Since that's the case, there is no longer any reason for this marriage to exist. Snapping back to reality, I took the divorce agreement and our marriage certificate, and headed to the courthouse. Once the clerk verified everything, they told me to come back in 1 month to pick up the final divorce papers. Walking out of the courthouse, the warm sunlight washed over me. For the first time in forever, I felt a deep sense of relief. Then, I dialed a number I had saved for a long time. Alan, you invited me to the UK to film a movie before. I'm in. There was a sudden loud clattering sound on the other end of the line. It took a long moment before Alan's excited voice came through. Chen Crossing, you finally said yes. I've been keeping this role open just for you. I know that with you in the cast, this movie is bound to win awards. Before one married Liu Ryan, her mother demanded that I focus entirely on taking care of the family after marriage, and give up acting for 3 years. Aside from occasionally accompanying her as her +1 to essential events, I was basically out of the industry. I had almost forgotten what it was like 3 years ago, to be the youngest Best Actor holding that trophy, and who I used to be. But fortunately, in 1 month, I'll get my divorce papers, and I can finally return to the acting career I love. Chen Crossing, when are you coming to the UK? I seriously can't wait. I glanced at the calendar and said softly, how about the 6th of next month? That day is exactly 1 month from now, the day I pick up my divorce papers. As soon as I have them in hand, I'll fly straight to the UK. After discussing my upcoming role with Alan for a bit longer, I finally hung up the phone. Just as I got into my car and was about to drive back, my phone chimed with the custom notification sound I had set for her. I tapped the screen. And Liu Ryan's latest post popped up. As long as you promise to be with me, I'll do absolutely anything. Attached was a photo of a divorce agreement. Along with a photo of her fingers tightly locked with JoJo Wang's. Liu Ryan's Weibo account was registered 7 years ago. She had only ever posted 3 times. The first was the public post from when I finally agreed to date her. The second one was her congratulating me when I won Best Actor. And the third one was a proud declaration of her love on our wedding day. But now, those 3 posts are long gone, deleted, leaving only this latest one. In the comments, JoJo Wang's fans were throwing a celebration. A high-end mighty female CEO and her innocent, sweet puppy dog. I totally ship them. Our little Sue deserves this. That old geezer should have gotten lost a long time ago anyway. Right after that, my name, Lee Changxing, climbed back onto the trending topics list for the first time in forever. Hashtag, former best actor Lee Changxing's marriage in shambles. Hashtag, kicked out of the wealthy family. Hashtag, the former model couple, completely shattered to pieces after 3 years. Back when I married Liu Ryan, I never could have imagined that we would ever end up like this. During those days when the Liu family opposed us the hardest, we somehow made it through. Only for her to end up having a change of heart, swallowing the bitter ache in my chest. I left a comment under the post. Congratulations to President Liu on her new catch. Just as I hit send, my former manager, Brother Zhao, happened to call. Chen crossing you and President Liu Brother Zhao had watched me every step of the way, from when I first started out, to the moment I became Best Actor. Even though I stopped acting after my marriage, the 2 of us had still remained close friends. Hearing him hesitate on the other end, I spoke up first. Brother Zhao It's true, Liu Ryan and I have already signed the divorce papers. Brother Zhao fell silent for a moment, his voice heavy with emotion. Back then I watched President Liu pour her heart and soul into loving you. I really thought she was different from all those other rich people. Sunlight filtered through the treetops, casting a shadow over my face. When I married her, I also used to think she was one of those rare, devoted lovers among the wealthy. Looking back now, she was probably just hiding it too well back then. If she had gone into acting, she would definitely be a Best Actress level talent. After all, her acting managed to completely fool even me, a Best Actor. Anyway, let's not talk about that. I changed the subject. Make sure you show up to the award ceremony on time. Before my marriage, I starred as the male lead in my final film, The Search. Due to the massive post-production workload, it wasn't released until last year, but it has already won several international awards. And thanks to this role, I was nominated for Best Actor at the Gold and Silver Awards. The ceremony is today. After hanging up, I drove straight to the venue. Just as I found my seat and sat down, there was a sudden commotion at the entrance. I followed the sound and looked over, and happened to see JoJo Wang entering the hall, holding hands with Liu Ryan. Seeing them, many reporters crowded around to ask questions. President Liu, your 3-year marriage with Mr. Lee Changxing has ended just like that. Do you find it regrettable? Mr. Zhou, President Liu divorced her husband for you. Do you think what you did was unethical? Faced with their pointed questions, JoJo Wang cleared his throat and pulled Liu Ryan close. I, JoJo Wang, would never stoop to being the other man. Ryan and I only officially got together after they got divorced. Her marriage with Senior Lee had run into problems long ago, so it's not like it's my fault. Liu Ryan looked at the man beside her with pure adoration. It's no loss. If there's no love left between 2 people, marriage is nothing but a prison. In fact, divorce is a relief for both sides. Every single word felt like a knife, stabbing deep into me. A prison. So that's what our marriage was to her. It was already suffocating her this much. Zhao, sitting next to me, looked at me with concern, his eyes filled with heartache. I shook my head. My gaze fell on Liu Ryan's hands, as she carefully adjusted JoJo Wang's tie. I let out a self-deprecating smile. Honestly, wasn't it a prison for me, too? Even though I knew that love had gone sour long ago, I still turned a blind eye, lying to myself. Thankfully, in a month, both of us will finally be free from this prison. The award ceremony soon began. And finally, it was time to announce the Best Actor. My palms broke into a light sweat. When I starred in Seeking, I thought, it would be my last time acting in this lifetime. I poured my heart and soul into that role. If I could win Best Actor tonight, it would undoubtedly bring my domestic acting career to a perfect close. The host, holding the list, deliberately swept their eyes over all the nominees before finally speaking slowly. The best actor of this year's Gold and Silver Awards is JoJo Wang. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. JoJo Wang cupped Liu Ryan's face and gave her a passionate kiss before standing up to accept the award on stage. A wave of disappointment washed over me, but I quickly composed myself. Sitting next to me, Zhao leaned in, visibly indignant, whispering in my ear with a low voice. I've secretly asked around. The judges had incredibly high praise for your movie. The best actor should have been you. Do you think President Liu bribed the judges? Before he could even finish, I instinctively shot back, no way. Liu Ryan isn't the type to mix business with pleasure, or play dirty tricks behind my back. Even when we were deeply in love back then, she never pulled strings for me. It's out with the old, in with the new. Maybe his performance just moved the judges more. Brother Zhao was still visibly upset. How could his commercial movie possibly beat yours? I patted him reassuringly. His producers, his movie ... None of that matters anymore. In a month, I'll be leaving for the United Kingdom to shoot a movie. Hearing this, Brother Zhao's eyes instantly widened. The United Kingdom, he gasped, his voice shaking with excitement. Is it the one who reached out to you so many times before? ... Director Alan. I smiled and nodded. That's incredible. Director Alan is a world-class director. Once you become a global superstar, don't you dare forget about me. I repeatedly made promises to Brother Zhao, and only then did he finally let me go to take care of his other work. After they announced Best Actor, I had no reason to stay for the rest of the ceremony, so I left early to head back. As I passed the backstage area, I saw her standing by the wings. Liu Ryan, holding a bouquet of red roses. My fingers clenched, but I pretended not to see her, and turned to leave. But then, a flattering voice came from behind. President Liu, we have already done as you ordered, and changed the Best Actor winner to Mr. Zhou. Is there anything else we need to arrange? My footsteps froze. Liu Ryan's nonchalant voice drifted over. Just keep your mouths shut. Don't let Zhuang find out ... That Best Actor was originally supposed to go to Chen Crossing. Her words felt like a sudden bolt of lightning, striking me when I least expected it. The Best Actor ... was me. The two of them continued talking, but my eyes fell on the bouquet of red roses in her hands. It all just feels so incredibly ironic. I had confidently sworn ... that she wasn't the type to mix business with pleasure. But reality just slapped me right in the face. Maybe my glare was a bit too intense, because Liu Ryan's gaze suddenly drifted over. The moment our eyes locked, a flicker of panic crossed her eyes, but she quickly regained her composure. She walked over, holding a bouquet of roses, and said with a sigh of helplessness, Chen Crossing ... Let's just let Zhuang have the Best Actor award this time. Help me keep this a secret, okay? I couldn't believe my ears. How could she say the word let with such shameless confidence? Liu Ryan, this honor was supposed to be mine. Why on earth should I just hand it over to him? Her brow furrowed, her tone growing impatient. You aren't even acting right now. What's the point of holding on to these empty titles? Besides, if it weren't for that comment you posted today ... which ended up upsetting Zhuang, I wouldn't have to resort to this just to make it up to him. Her harsh words made me clench my fists involuntarily. My voice trembled as I asked, so ... What you're saying is ... You steal the honor that belongs to me. ... And somehow, I'm the one to blame. It was rare for Liu Ryan to see me this worked up. She stepped forward, wrapping her arms around my waist, and softened her voice to soothe me. Chen Crossing ... That single quotes, that's not what I meant. It's just that I'm really into Zhuang right now. So of course I have to keep him happy. Once I lose interest in him, I'll bring that Best Actor trophy ... right back to you. Don't worry, I know who my real husband is. Whatever is going on between us is just for show. You don't need to take any of it seriously. After 2 years of this, I had already grown completely numb. He's just a temporary distraction ... You're still my only husband. It's all just an act. In her eyes, she saw absolutely nothing wrong with her behavior. Instead, it was me, her husband, who, if throwing a tantrum means I'm being petty and immature. I broke free from her embrace, forcing back the tears stinging my eyes. Don't trouble yourself, President Liu. I don't want a trophy that someone else has dirtied. And the same goes for people. With that, I didn't stick around to see the expression on her face, and stumbled out of the award ceremony to go home. The next morning, I woke up bright and early, and began clearing out my belongings. Aside from the essentials I needed to take to the UK, I packed up everything else and threw it all out, including everything that connected me to Liu Ryan, the photo albums from our dating days to our marriage, and the massive, expensive wedding portrait we spent a fortune on. In the garden, the hydrangeas she personally planted, which used to be my favorite. Dating for years. Married for 3. We lived together in this house for 7 years. Our shared memories were scattered everywhere. It took me a solid half a month to finally get rid of all these items, filled with memories, piece by piece. In the end, this once warm and cozy home returned to how it looked 7 years ago when we first moved in. Just a cold, empty villa. During those 2 weeks, Liu Ryan didn't come back even once, but I knew where she was. According to her habits, once she has a new young lover, she will spend at least a month by his side. Especially since JoJo Wang is such a high-profile man, constantly showing off their romance on Weibo almost every day. The day before yesterday, she took him deep-sea fishing, cooking for him herself. Yesterday, she visited his set while he was filming, tenderly massaging his shoulders out of concern. Perhaps as those shared memories were stripped from the house, my feelings for her were also being pulled from my heart, piece by piece. When I saw those Weibo posts, I only paused for a second before casually swiping past them. Once I finished clearing everything out of the house, I drove to the mall. The movie shoot was going to be long. After I moved to the UK, I won't be coming back for at least 2 years. So I need to pack a lot of luggage to bring with me. I spent the whole afternoon shopping at the mall. My trunk was already stuffed with shopping bags. I shut the trunk, opened the car door, and was about to get in and leave. Just as I got one foot into the driver's seat, someone suddenly grabbed me from behind and yanked me out. Caught completely off guard, I fell hard onto the ground, scraping a huge chunk of skin off my arm. Blood started dripping down my arm. Grimacing in pain, I pushed myself up, only to finally see who it was. It was a group of about a dozen young girls who had attacked me, but I didn't even know them. Who are you guys? The moment the words left my mouth, looks of sheer disgust washed over their faces. One of them stepped forward and slapped me hard across the face. It's all because of this old jerk, she spat angrily. If he wasn't hogging the spot of President Liu's husband, Zissou would have been with her ages ago. Now that they're finally divorced, how dare he still spend her money? He's absolutely shameless. My cheeks stung with a sharp, burning pain. But now I finally understood. These girls were JoJo Wang's fans, but JoJo Wang was the homewrecker. I was the legal husband. Yet in their eyes, I was the one to blame. Besides, for today's shopping trip, I used my own card. It had absolutely nothing to do with Liu Ryan. I struggled to find my voice to explain, trying to get them to calm down. I didn't spend a single penny of Liu Ryan's money. You stalked me ... and putting your hands on me is illegal. Do you realize that? Hearing this, a contemptuous sneer spread across the girl's face. You still dare to lie. Girls, let's get him. Let's teach this scumbag a lesson. Getting payback for Zissou. No sooner had she said that, the girls surrounding me immediately started beating me up. They were all hitting me with everything they had, punching and kicking me mercilessly. I might be a man, but I was completely outnumbered. There was no way I could fight back against all of them. All I could do was lie there and take the beating. I had parked in a pretty isolated spot, and there was nobody else around. This emboldened them, and they got even more vicious. They kept screaming insults like, "You pathetic old bastard. How dare you try to steal a woman from our Zissou? We're going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget. A movie king, please. I bet you slept your way to the top. President Liu was seriously blind to ever want you. Thank God our Zissou saved her from you. I could even feel their sharp nails ripping into my skin, leaving bloody scratches. The pain was so intense it felt like my organs had been torn out of place. What do you think you're doing?" The fists raining down on me suddenly stopped. I struggled to force my eyes open, and saw a few security guards running toward us. Only then did my body finally give out, and I blacked out. When I finally woke up, I was lying in a hospital bed. Liu Ryan, whom I hadn't seen in 2 weeks, was sitting right by my side, holding my hand. When she saw me open my eyes, she asked with deep worrying in her voice, "Shangsing, how are you feeling? Are you okay?" I quietly pulled my hand out of her grasp and looked out the window. Did they catch the people who beat me up? I want to press charges. Yu Ryan looked at me, bruised and battered on the hospital bed, and her eyes filled with pain. The mall security guards called the police right away. They've already locked those people up at the station. Before I could even say another word, JoJo Wang pushed open the door to the hospital room and walked in. He went straight over, wrapped his arm around Yu Ryan's waist, and murmured, "Are you YAing ... Oh, Senior Lee, you're awake." His eyes drifted over to me, and he said, sounding apologetic, "Senior Lee ... I'm really so sorry. My fans caused you so much trouble. But they only had my best interests at heart ... They felt like you were standing in the way of Ryan and my happiness ... And they just acted out of anger in the heat of the moment." He was saying all the right things ... But the smugness in his eyes and the sarcasm in his voice ... completely gave away what he was actually thinking. He was clearly thrilled to see me get beaten. Anger flared deep inside me. If I hadn't desperately protected my face ... I would have been completely disfigured today. As an actor ... If my face is ruined ... my career is basically over. JoJo Wang, since you can't keep your fans in line ... Then let me do it for you. I am not letting those people off the hook. Tell them to expect a lawsuit. The second those words left my mouth, JoJo Wang immediately spoke up to defend them. Senior Lee ... I've already apologized to you. Why do you have to be so relentless? I won't let you hurt my fans. With his eyes welling up with tears, he turned to Lee Ryan. Are you YN ... I'm your boyfriend now ... And Senior Lee is just your ex-husband. Whose side are you on? Seeing him usually so proud, looking so vulnerable and hurt ... She immediately wrapped him in a protective hug, her heart aching for him. She threw everything else right out the window. Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm on your side, my Zhuang. Don't worry, I'll make sure they get released safely. Her words made my mind go completely blank for a second. I stared at her in utter disbelief. Yu Ryan, you're really going to protect your little boy toy like this? Do you have any idea that I almost got permanently disfigured as soon as I said that ... JoJo Wang frowned and retorted defensively, Senior Lee ... I call you senior out of respect, but that doesn't mean you can just drag my name through the mud like this. Ryan and I ... only got together after you two divorced. I'm her official boyfriend. I found it utterly laughable. As the saying goes, it takes two to tango. If, before we signed the divorce agreement, he truly had done nothing out of line with Yu Ryan, then with his arrogant and proudful nature, he probably wouldn't have persistently spent 2 months chasing her. He just didn't want to lose a sugar mama like Yu Ryan, while also avoiding being labeled as her side piece. Yu Ryan comfortingly patted JoJo Wang's head before turning her gaze back to me. Her tone left no room for argument. But it's not like you were actually disfigured, were you? How much compensation do you want? Name a price. With a sharp crack, I clearly heard the sound of my heart shattering. It was our 7-year relationship, which was already hanging by a thread, now completely reduced to dust. Veins bulged on the back of my hand before I could force down the turbulent emotions inside me, and barely managed to speak in a calm voice. You really do dote on Mr. Joe, President Liu. Yu Ryan's face darkened, and she knit her brows in a barely perceptible frown. Ignoring it, I continued, since that's the case, just give me 70,000 for the medical bills, and I won't hold them responsible anymore. JoJo Wang asked, somewhat suspiciously, just 70,000? I nodded firmly. Yes, just 70,000. 70,000 to buy out the 7 years we spent together, from falling in love to getting divorced. Consider it a final period on this relationship and this marriage. Yu Ryan didn't ask any more questions. She transferred the 70,000, then led JoJo Wang away by the hand. Silence filled the hospital room once again. I rolled over, pulling the blanket over my head. Maybe the movement pulled at my wound, and a damp patch began to spread across my pillow. I stayed in the hospital for nearly 10 days. During that time, Yu Ryan came to see me once, but I didn't want to see him. I pretended to be fast asleep to avoid him. After I was discharged, I had a meal with the few close friends I have left, and told them, one by one, that I was leaving the country. When they heard I was going back to showbiz, they were all so happy for me. During my final few days before leaving, I was practically counting down the days. On the final day, the moment the Civil Affairs Bureau opened, I was there. The 1-month divorce cooling-off period had finally ended, and I successfully got my divorce certificate. Right as I walked out of the building, my phone rang. I looked at it and saw a message from JoJo Wang. He asked to meet me at a private club. Looking down at the divorce certificate in my hand, I decided to go ahead and meet him. When I arrived at the private room, JoJo Wang was already there. He picked up his cup of coffee, took a slow, leisurely sip, and looked at me with a smile. Seniorly ... I didn't mean anything by asking you out today. I just wanted to thank you for letting Ryan and me be together. I was actually looking for a chance to thank you right after your divorce. But over this past month, Ryan has been so clingy. Even if I'm away from him for just 3 hours, he won't have it. He insists on being by my side every single second. Even when I'm filming, he just waits on set for me. He's even willing to humble himself just to be my little assistant. Today, I barely managed to find a chance to slip away. My hand tightened around my glass without me even realizing it. You, Ryan, used to cling to me just like that when we were in love. But now, I didn't matter to him at all anymore. JoJo Wang's sharp eyes instantly caught the change in my expression, and the smirk in his eyes only deepened. Looks like you're still hung up on Ryan, seniorly. Too bad the two of you are already divorced. When she was chasing after me, I made it clear to her that I'd never be just a side piece. So, she filed for divorce right away just for me. I guess I'm the one who actually matters to her. Your ancient history now, seniorly. I could tell. He was a smart, ambitious man. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept Liu Rian obsessed with him for 3 months, much less got her to file for divorce. You didn't ask me to meet you ... double quotes ... just to gloat in my face, did you? JoJo Wang let out a smug chuckle. You really are smart, seniorly. He pulled a sheet of paper out of his bag and handed it to me. I frowned, having no idea what his game was. But when I took the paper, those 5 bold words, pregnancy test report, caught my eye. My mind went completely blank. It felt like a sudden chill had wrapped around my heart, freezing it solid, piece by piece. Liu Rian was pregnant. JoJo Wang looked highly satisfied with my reaction. He lifted his chin proudly and said with blatant smugness, seniorly ... Rian and I have only been together for 1 month, and she's already pregnant with my child. But you two were married for 3 years and couldn't even have a single kid. What an absolute failure. I gripped the pregnancy report in my hand so tightly, ... that the paper began to crumple and crease. Actually, Liu Rian and I had a child once. It was during our 2nd year of marriage. She had just found out she was 1 month pregnant. I was absolutely ecstatic. I stayed home all day, trying out all kinds of recipes to cook nutritious meals for her. But day after day, she would come home later, and I'd just sit there waiting. The food on the table went cold, and I heated it up again, over and over, until the early hours of the morning. When she finally walked through the door, there was a fresh, suggestive red mark on her neck. That was the first time she cheated on me. I sat on the couch that night, crying until dawn. The next day, we lost the baby to a miscarriage. He lay there, weak, on his hospital bed, shedding tears of deep regret, claiming this was the punishment he deserved, and swearing he would never cheat again. But after that, he just went right back to finding one mistress after another. Only, he made sure none of them ever got pregnant, no matter what. The little life we lost was the final line between us. Clearly, he has completely forgotten that now. But fortunately, we're already divorced. So who he wants to be with, or who gets pregnant with his child, is none of my business anymore. I suppressed the turbulent emotions inside me, and handed the pregnancy report back to JoJo Wang. Congratulations, I said. It looks like your big day is just around the corner. The smug look on his face froze. He clearly didn't expect me to accept the news so calmly and quickly. He stood up and grabbed my wrist, a mocking smile playing on his lips. You say congratulations, senior, but deep down, you probably hate my guts, don't you? And unfortunately, I really don't like Ryan. Having an ex-husband like you hovering around her. I'm going to make you vanish from her life completely, before I even had a chance to process what he meant by that. I saw him grab my hand, pick up a cup, and slam it hard against his own head. Blood immediately started pouring down his face. He clutched his head, his face turning deathly pale. My heart clenched, and I instinctively pulled out my phone to dial 911. Zhuang, Liu Ryan burst through the door, kicking it open. With trembling hands, she desperately tried to stop the bleeding from his head. Zhuang, don't be scared. I'm taking you to the hospital right now. I opened my mouth to explain, but she immediately called in her bodyguards and rushed him out, holding him in her arms. As she passed me, she shoved her shoulder hard into mine. I lost my footing and stumbled back a few steps. But she didn't even seem to notice. Too busy comforting him while he lay there hurt. She didn't say a single word, but I could clearly feel the bone-chilling message loud and clear. I don't even know how I got to the hospital. By the time I found the operating room where JoJo Wang was, Ryan was already waiting outside. Her anxiety was plain as day. It looked like she was truly heartbroken over him. I didn't say a single word. I just quietly sat down on the other end of the bench, waiting for the surgery to end. The corridor was dead silent. Once, we were so close we were inseparable. But now, it felt like there was a whole galaxy between us. All that was left between us was a suffocating silence. I don't know how much time passed. Before Ryan looked up, her eyes bloodshot, and spoke, trying to suppress her rage. Li Cheng crossing ... I already promised you ... The position of the Liu Group president's husband will only ever be yours. And you're the only one I love. So why did you have to lay a hand on Zhuang? After 7 years together, I know her all too well. Right now, she is on the absolute verge of exploding with rage. The last time she was this angry was when I accidentally got hurt during a shoot. She took her anger out on the entire crew back then. But now, she's doing it for her little side piece. And the one bearing the brunt of her rage is me. How ironic ... I lowered my eyes, trying to swallow down the bitter ache tightening in my chest. I didn't lay a finger on him. He set me up on purpose. Ryan scoffed, her voice dripping with obvious disbelief. Shanxing. Since when ... Double quotes ... Did you sink to using cheap tricks like some jealous woman fighting for attention? Have I not given you enough? The title of the president's husband ... And all of my love ... It's all yours. I'm just having a little fun with Zhuang. Why can't you just let him be? Just playing around. Only you. Hearing those words, I let out a bitter laugh. But as I laughed, the corners of my eyes burned with tears. Ryan, you've told so many lies that I'm afraid even you ... have started to believe them. Put your hand over your heart and ask yourself ... Do you really still love me? If you love me, why do you constantly have lovers on the side? If you love me, how could you get someone else pregnant? If you love me, why don't you have a shred of trust in me? Seeing the sheer emptiness and lifelessness in my eyes, Ryan froze, the anger in his chest instantly cooling down. To him, I was simply acting out because I loved him too much and was jealous. He had spent this past month completely wrapped up with JoJo Wang, and he indeed had ignored my feelings. Standing up, he pulled me into his arms and whispered, Shen crossing ... Just wait a little longer. Once I lose interest in those men outside, I'll naturally come back to you. And when that time comes, whatever you want to do, I'll do it with you. Over and over again. It was always this empty promise that would never come true. I pushed him away, my voice completely flat. There's no need, because we are officially divorced. I don't need to wait anymore. From now on, the things I want to do, I can do them all on my own. Ryan only thought I was still throwing a tantrum. I'll make sure Zhuang doesn't pursue this. But once he wakes up, you have to apologize to him. I could hardly believe my ears. He was actually demanding that I apologize. On what grounds? I hadn't done anything wrong. Just as I was about to argue back, the doors to the operating room swung open. A nurse rushed out, calling, President Liu, the patient is hemorrhaging badly. We need an immediate blood transfusion. Ryan immediately whipped out his phone and called his secretary, ordering him to secure all the type of blood from every blood bank in the city, to have it all sent to the hospital. Seeing how frantic he was, for a moment, I was taken right back to the year of my stunt wire accident. After he used his own body as a cushion to break my fall and save me, he had been just as panicked then, until he saw that I was completely unharmed. Before he finally felt relieved enough to pass out, I pulled up my sleeve and held my arm out to the nurse. I'm type A. Take mine first. As soon as I said that, Ryan's gaze became incredibly complicated. His lips parted, as if he wanted to say something. But in the end, he didn't say a word. I didn't care about his reaction, and just followed the nurse to give blood. They didn't stop until they had drawn 800 milliliters. My face turned deathly pale, and my lips lost every drop of color. Pressing a hand over my wound, I slowly walked over to him, and let out a small, relieved smile. Now ... I don't owe you anything anymore. I had finally paid him back for saving my life 7 years ago. But Liu Ryan only thought that I was acting out of guilt for hitting JoJo Wang, and that this was my way of making amends. Looking at my pale face, he felt a sudden pang of heartache. Shame crossing ... Go home and get some rest first. Once Zhuang is out of danger, I'll come back to see you. I didn't answer. I just turned around and dragged my weak body away. For some reason, watching me walk away filled him with a sudden, strange panic. He opened his mouth to call after me, but just then, the operating room light went out, so he had to turn to the doctor to ask about JoJo Wang's condition first. By the time he looked up again, I was already long gone. Once I got home, I pulled out the suitcase I had already packed, dragged it to the door, and took the divorce papers out of my bag. I placed them on the shoe cabinet, and then I tore a piece of paper from a notepad. I wrote down one last note to Ryan. The script of our lives together ... has officially wrapped today. May we never meet again. I placed the note under our divorce papers, and took one last look at this house, our home for 7 years. All the love and hate from these past 7 years ends today. I, Li Chengsing ... am ready to write a brand new script for my own life. Inside the hospital ward, Liu Ryan was sitting by JoJo Wang's bedside. The anesthesia hadn't worn off yet, and he was still unconscious. For some reason, even though right now, she should have been worrying about the severely injured JoJo Wang. The side of my back as I walked away ... kept lingering in her mind, refusing to fade. It left her with an inexplicable sense of unease. Liu Ryan pulled out her phone and opened our chat. Only then did she realize ... that our last conversation was actually a whole month ago. In the past, even if she stayed out and didn't come home, I would always send her messages from time to time. But this time ... there hadn't been a single text from me for an entire month. Liu Ryan pursed her lips, stepped out of the ward, and called her assistant. Go to Jiangsu Pavilion and get some black chicken soup. Deliver it to my husband, and make sure to tell him he must drink it. Then, she went back to our chat, and texted me, Chengsing, I'm having my assistant send you some black chicken soup from Jiangsu Pavilion. Be good and drink it to get your strength back, and then get some proper rest. Liu Ryan knew ... that she was pinned to the top of my chat list. Whenever she texted, I would always reply within 2 minutes. 1 minute ... 2 minutes. 3 minutes ... then. A whole half hour went by, but the screen remained completely silent. Still no response. Ryan frowned. The nagging feeling in her chest grew stronger, and a faint sense of unease began to creep in. But a moment later, she reassured herself. Maybe he went home and is already asleep. That thought brought Ryan a sense of relief. Putting her phone away, she pushed open the hospital room door. The moment she stepped inside, Zhuang's eyelashes fluttered, and he weakly opened his eyes. Are you YN ... double quotes seeing him? Ryan immediately grabbed Zhuang's hand, pressing it against her cheek, gently caressing his pale face. Her heart ached. Zhuang, how are you feeling now? Are you hurting anywhere? Tears immediately welled up in Zhuang's eyes, spilling down his cheeks. Ryan, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to thank Senior Lee for letting us be together. To his surprise, those words only made Ryan frown. Why is he being so thoughtless? He already came to me and had me propose a fake divorce for his sake. Is that still not enough? Zhuang was quick to notice Ryan's displeasure. His eyes flickered, and his voice grew even more aggrieved. Ryan, did I do something wrong? Should I not have gone to see Senior Lee? I was just so happy to be with you ... His pitiful, vulnerable words melted Ryan's heart once again. He's still just a kid, after all. It's only natural for him to be a bit impatient. She gently stroked Zhuang's head and softly comforted him. Zhuang, nothing is more important than you. As long as you're okay, that's all that matters. Those words instantly put Zhuang's uneasy heart completely at ease. He pouted, his eyes still red and swollen. Ryan, Senior Lee didn't even finish what he was saying. ... was suddenly interrupted by the ringing of a phone. Liu Ryan answered the call. Her assistant's panicked voice came through the line. President Liu, I'm right outside your house, but I've been ringing the doorbell, and there's no answer. Could something have happened to your husband? Liu Ryan's pupils contracted. She immediately let go of JoJo Wang's hand. Zhuang, ... something single quotes has come up. I'll come back to see you after I take care of it. With that, she hurriedly rushed out of the hospital room. Since JoJo Wang was standing so close, he naturally heard what the assistant said on the phone. Resentment and jealousy festered wildly in his heart. He desperately called out Liu Ryan's name behind her, trying to get her to come back. But Liu Ryan acted as if she hadn't heard a thing. And left without pausing for a single second. Once out of the hospital. Liu Ryan slammed her foot all the way down on the gas pedal. The car tore down the road like an arrow shot from a bow. Weaving through the traffic. Her home was a solid 40-minute drive from the hospital. But she made it there in just 20 minutes. The assistant hadn't left yet. And was waiting anxiously by the door. Seeing her arrive, the assistant rushed forward. President Liu, I've been ringing the doorbell for a solid half hour. But your husband still hasn't opened the door. Pushing down her growing dread, Liu Ryan unlocked the front door. The moment she stepped inside. She noticed the house felt strangely empty. In the dead center of the living room, the massive wedding photo was gone. On the dining table and the coffee table, the vases we had picked out together had also vanished into thin air. Even when she casually glanced out the window just now, the garden that used to be filled to the brim with hydrangeas. Was now completely bare. The dread Liu Ryan had barely managed to suppress. Reared its head once again. Her heart began to hammer wildly in her chest. She tore her gaze away. And headed straight for the bedroom. She wanted to demand answers from me just because she hadn't come home for a single month. Why did our once crowded home suddenly feel so empty? The moment she pushed open the door, she realized that Ivan she thought was resting in bed was completely gone. The blanket was laid out perfectly flat without a single wrinkle. Ryan rushed over and pulled the blanket back only to feel nothing but ice cold sheets. A sinking feeling settled deep in her chest. She flung open the walk-in closet and froze dead in her tracks at the sight. Every single piece of my clothing was gone. In that massive closet, only her own clothes hung there, looking incredibly lonely. Ryan couldn't hold back anymore. She frantically dialed my number. But all she got was a cold, robotic voice. We're sorry. Double quotes. The number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Only then, did Ryan finally realize something was terribly wrong. I had walked out. I had literally just donated blood to JoJo Wang today. So what kind of drama was I trying to start now? In an instant, Ryan remembered what had happened before they left the hospital room. She remembered what JoJo Wang had said. Was it because of how he acted in front of me? Those smug words of gratitude. The more she thought about it, the more convinced she became. Once she figured out the reason I had walked out, a wave of anger surged inside her. She had already explained to me a million times, that she was just playing around with those other men. JoJo Wang was just one of them. She didn't actually have any real feelings for him. Besides, it was nothing more than a younger guy bragging a little. How could I be so incredibly petty? I had even agreed to a fake divorce. Just over a few words. Was it really worth throwing a tantrum and running away? The more she dwelled on it, the angrier she got. She called her assistant, who was waiting outside, into the room. Find out where my husband is, she demanded. Let me know as soon as you find out. His assistant agreed immediately, and turned to go look into it. But just as he reached the door, he froze in his tracks. Stammering, he turned back to Liu Ryan and said, "And Mr. Mr. Gu. President Liu." He double quotes. Liu Ryan frowned, her brow furrowing as she snapped, "Speak clearly. What happened to my husband?" The assistant's eyes darted to the side, too terrified to say a word. After a long, tense pause, he squeezed his eyes shut, steeled his resolve, and blurted out, "President Liu. Your husband. He left something for you on the shoe cabinet. You should see it for yourself." Liu Ryan cautiously approached the shoe cabinet. When she saw the little red booklet resting on the cabinet, her face completely froze. With a trembling hand, she picked it up. The bold words "divorce certificate" stared back at her. Liu Ryan's breath caught. Divorce. When did she and I ever get a divorce? How could she not know about it? No. It's impossible. This has to be a fake prop I got from somewhere. Just to trick her. right. That has to be it. Liu Ryan kept trying to comfort herself like this, as she tremblingly opened the booklet. But when she saw what was inside, all her hope was instantly shattered. In the columns for husband and wife, her name and mine were clearly written, and the official stamp from the Civil Affairs Bureau didn't look fake at all. This divorce certificate was real. Liu Ryan, who was always so calm and collected, had a rare look of complete bewilderment on her face. She couldn't remember at all. When on earth she and I had gone through with the divorce. Beside her, the assistant swallowed hard, and cautiously handed her the note from the cabinet. President Liu. Your husband also left a message for you. Liu Ryan snatched the note impatiently, only to find a single, short line written on it. To Liu Ryan, the script of our story is officially over today. We are never seeing each other again. Never again. How could I be so heartless? An uncontrollable rage surged inside her. We had been together for 7 years, and I actually managed to let it all go. I even went behind her back to finalize the divorce. The note in her hand was crumpled out of shape. A relentless chill radiated from her. She pulled out her phone and sent me over a dozen messages in rapid succession. When did you go behind my back and get a divorce? I never agreed to this divorce. I don't accept this. Where did you go? Is it really because of Xuan that you're willing to just throw away our 7 years together? If you really dislike him that much, I promise I'll cut all ties with him. Liu Ryan stared at her phone with a grim expression. But 30 minutes passed, and there was still no reply. In a freezing tone, she ordered her assistant to investigate. When did my husband file the divorce papers? And where is he now? The assistant gave her a strange look. I'll find out where Mr. Zhou is. As for the divorce, he hesitated for a moment. Before finally speaking up, I recall that a month ago, didn't you orchestrate a fake divorce with Mr. Zhou? Both you and your husband signed that divorce agreement. I'm afraid he used that very agreement to finalize the divorce. Liu Ryan froze. She had almost forgotten that the divorce agreement even existed. To her, that agreement was fake from the very beginning. It was nothing more than a way to get JoJo Wang to agree. My agreeing to stay with her, was nothing but an act. But what she never expected, was that I would actually take those divorce papers, and go finalize the divorce. Over this past month, did all of my strange behavior finally make sense to her. I had stopped texting her, and all of my things had been cleared out of the house. It turned out that as early as 1 month ago, I was already planning my departure. Just waiting to get the divorce certificate. But it wasn't like she hadn't had affairs over the past 2 years. And I knew about every single one of them. Back then, I was clearly able to tolerate it. So why, when she got together with JoJo Wang, did I choose to get a divorce? Leaving so resolutely. Leaving her with nothing but a divorce certificate. And one brief sentence. 7 years together. If Ryan knew me at all, she'd know that my choosing to get a divorce, meant I had completely given up on this marriage, and was utterly done with her. Did it really have to be like what I wrote? That we would never see each other again for the rest of our lives. And no, she refused to accept it. Just the thought of, never having me by her side again, made her feel like her heart was being torn wide open, bleeding endlessly. Since I made up my mind to divorce because of JoJo Wang, then if she cut things off with him completely, and blacklisted him, would I change my mind then? With 7 years of history between us, I couldn't possibly be this heartless. A glimmer of hope rose in Liu Ryan's heart once more. She immediately started the car and rushed to the hospital. All the tenderness she once felt for JoJo Wang, had completely vanished into thin air. Right now, she only wanted to cut ties with him completely, just to win me back. As soon as she parked, Liu Ryan rushed toward the hospital room. She was just about to push the door open, when she heard JoJo Wang's voice coming from inside. But it was nothing like his usual tone. It sounded vicious. I even sacrificed my own body to frame that old bastard, but Ryan actually still has feelings for him. I should have just told those brain-dead fans, to slice up his face. Let's see him try to seduce Ryan after that. Liu Ryan's hand froze right on the doorknob. She stood completely frozen. JoJo Wang's injury was actually all staged. I wasn't lying. It really wasn't me who attacked him. Even half a month ago, When I was beaten up in the underground parking lot. It was JoJo Wang who intentionally egged his fans on to do it. But she chose to believe that hypocritical man instead. Not only did she let the culprit who hurt me off the hook. But she also blamed his injuries on me. She even made me donate 800 milliliters of blood for nothing. Inside the hospital room. JoJo Wang had no idea Liu Ryan was standing just outside. He just kept rambling on. If President Zhao's husband hadn't been breathing down my neck. I wouldn't have taken such a huge risk. Once I'm fully recovered. I single quotes I'll make sure Ryan gets pregnant with my kid. She dotes on me so much right now. It'll definitely work. When that happens, I'll be the CEO's husband. As for that old bastard, Li Quangson. Of course, I'll have to get rid of him for good. I'm planning to play the same trick again. And get those brain-dead fans to take care of him. Even if they get caught, it has absolutely nothing to do with me. Every single word. Stripped away JoJo Wang's mask, exposing his sheer malice. Liu Ryan? Could no longer hold back the burning rage consuming her. She violently kicked the door open. JoJo Wang. How dare you lie to me? JoJo Wang was on the phone. The vicious smirk still plastered on his face. He panicked, utterly terrified by Liu Ryan's sudden entrance. When did she get here? Did she Did she hear everything I just said? But he was still holding on to a desperate sliver of hope, pretending he didn't know a thing. Ryan, what are you talking about? When have I ever lied to you? His fake, hypocritical face absolutely disgusted Liu Ryan. Her voice was as cold as crushed ice, sharp and biting. You framed him, making it look like he cheated on me. JoJo Wang, you've got some nerve. With every word Liu Ryan spoke, JoJo Wang's face grew a shade paler. She actually heard everything. He couldn't keep his composure any longer. His voice trembled as he tried to defend himself. Ryan, I only did it because I love you so much. I was just so jealous of Senior Lee. We've been together for 7 years. That's the only reason I wanted to hurt him. I was so terrified you'd leave me and go back to him. And as for Mr. Zhao. JoJo Wang's tears streamed down his face uncontrollably, looking absolutely pathetic. He's the one who kept feeding me drinks at that dinner. He took advantage of me after I got drunk. I didn't even know what was happening. I'm the victim here too. I didn't tell you because because I was terrified you'd find me disgusting. I was so scared, Ryan. In the past, if she even saw his eyes well up with tears, her heart would ache for him instantly, and she'd rush to comfort him. But now, Liu Ryan just stared at him coldly, her eyes filled with cold contempt. She gritted her teeth. JoJo Wang, you're still trying to lie to me. Do you really think I'm an idiot? And besides the only person I have ever loved, from the very beginning, is Chen Crossing. You don't even deserve to be mentioned in the same breath as him. JoJo Wang's eyes widened in utter disbelief. Liu Ryan only loves Li Chengxing. How is that possible? No. Ignoring his weak, post-surgery body, he scrambled out of bed, trying to throw himself into her arms. Are you YAN? You're supposed to love me. You literally divorced your husband for me. How could you not love me? Liu Ryan took a cold step back, dodging his touch. The divorce was all a sham. It was just an act to fool you. Did you seriously think I would actually divorce Chen Xin ... just for a hypocritical man like you? I'm exposing everything you did online ... and letting everyone see your true colors. JoJo Wang lunged forward but missed. His already weak body couldn't support him anymore, and he collapsed heavily onto the floor. It tore at his surgical incision, sending a sharp, agonizing pain through him. But the physical pain ... was nothing compared to the devastation in his heart. Struggling, he grabbed the hem of Liu Ryan's pants and begged, "Are you YAN ... Please, don't. I only did it because I love you too much. Can you please forgive me? I promise I'll go far away ... and I'll never show my face in front of you or Senior Chen again." Hearing my name, Liu Ryan let out a cold, harsh sneer, and slapped JoJo Wang hard across the face. "You don't deserve to mention Chen Shin's name. And as for forgiveness, save that for your fans." With that, she ignored JoJo Wang's desperate cries, and strode away without looking back. Once outside the hospital, she immediately pulled out her phone to call her assistant. "Dig up all the dirt you can find on JoJo Wang, and bring it to my office." The assistant worked fast, Within just 2 hours, a thick stack of documents was placed in her hands. Liu Ryan flipped through the papers page by page. With every page she turned, her face grew darker, and the rage burning inside her flared. By the time she finished the last page, Liu Ryan lost all control and violently kicked her chair over, letting out a stream of curses. The first time she had met JoJo Wang was at an awards ceremony. Back then, he had a bit of buzz around him, but didn't win any awards. So, after the event ended, Liu Ryan caught him backstage, quietly psyching himself up. That stubborn, never-give-up drive of his was exactly like me when I was 20. That was why she pursued JoJo Wang in the first place. She thought he was just like me at 20. Stubborn and hard-working, never giving up easily. But she never expected that it was all an act, entirely fake. JoJo Wang had already hooked up with a middle-aged sugar daddy. He thought his sugar daddy was too old, so he shifted his target to her. Every single accidental encounter had been deliberately planned by him. My beating in the parking garage was also because he was stirring the pot in his fan group, egging them on to camp out and teach me a lesson. Liu Ryan's temples throbbed. A cold, sharp light flashed in her eyes. She handed the documents to her assistant. Expose all of this, and terminate our contract with JoJo Wang immediately. In less than 1 minute, Weibo crashed completely. All of JoJo Wang's dirty laundry dominated most of the trending topics. Trending. Popular young actor secretly slept his way to the top. Hashtag JoJo Wang is a homewrecker. Hashtag JoJo Wang incites fans to beat up Lee Changxing. The internet was flooded with outrage and abuse aimed at JoJo Wang. Oh my god, he looks so innocent, but he actually has a sugar daddy. And he was stirring up trouble in his fan group. I guess if his fans get arrested for assault, it's their own fault. Had nothing to do with him. What a masterclass in shifting the blame. His poor fans got totally screwed over. I've been wanting to say this for a while. Everyone knew Liu Ryan and Lee Changxing were married. Yet when JoJo Wang announced his relationship, the comments were nothing but congratulations. Even back then, I thought their values were totally messed up. Yeah, even though Lee Changxing hasn't acted in a few years. His old shows were seriously so good. I actually really liked him. But now, his family's been ruined by some male homewrecker. He's truly pitiful. That trashy woman Liu Ryan deserves to be dragged to. Getting cheated on serves her right. As soon as the reporters got the news, they swarmed the hospital, completely ignoring that JoJo Wang had just come out of surgery. They shoved their cameras right in his face. Mr. Joe, is all this information actually true? Did you really get a sugar mommy and frame Mr. Lee Changxing? Mr. Joe, doesn't your conscience bother you at all for doing something like this? JoJo Wang was already on the verge of a complete breakdown. He grabbed whatever he could reach and threw it at them, screaming at the top of his lungs for them to get the hell out. But the reporters refused to back down. They kept crowding the hospital room, until the nurses finally called security to kick them all out. The nurses had seen the trending topics too, so they couldn't help but look at JoJo Wang with utter contempt. In an instant, he went from a beloved star to a despised street rat that everyone wanted to destroy. JoJo Wang couldn't handle the shock. His mind completely snapped. Clutching his pillow, he mumbled incoherently, claiming he was the husband of the Liu Group's president and a global superstar. Seeing that his mental state was completely abnormal, the hospital had him committed to a psychiatric ward. As for Liu Ryan, she no longer cared about anything to do with JoJo Wang. She ordered her assistant to do everything in their power to find any news of me. She needed to find me, to beg for my forgiveness, and save our relationship. Before long, her assistant found out that I had bought a plane ticket to the United Kingdom. But as for where exactly I was headed in the country, they hit a dead end. Liu Ryan flew into a massive rage, leaving the entire company walking on eggshells, terrified that one wrong move would make them the target of her anger. Once she calmed down, Liu Ryan ordered in a cold, low voice, "Keep looking for him. Even if you have to turn the UK upside down, you have to find Chen Crossing." 4 years later, at Jinchi Airport, dressed in a trench coat, I had just stepped off the plane and immediately pulled out my sunglasses and a mask. Once I was sure my face was completely covered, I finally felt safe enough to walk out. As soon as I reached the arrivals gate, I saw Brother Zhao standing there. His eyes kept scanning the crowd for me, and my heart warmed. I snuck up behind him and tapped him on the shoulder. Brother Zhao jumped out of his skin. I quietly pulled down my mask a bit and whispered, Brother Zhao. It's me. Brother Zhao stared at me blankly for a long moment, before finally punching me playfully on the shoulder. His voice was a bit choked up. Chen Crossing, you're finally back. I patted his shoulder, gesturing for us to leave first. Brother Zhao snapped out of it, and immediately grabbed my suitcase, leading the way to the parking lot. Once we got into the van, I finally took off my mask and sunglasses, revealing a bright, beaming smile. My state of mind now is so much better than it was 4 years ago. It was as if Brother Zhao was looking at me when I first entered the industry, confident and full of life, yet with a touch more maturity than back then. He teased, Chen Crossing. It's been 4 years. Looks like you've been doing well in the UK. And here I was, worrying you wouldn't eat well, constantly sending you care packages. I chuckled, patting my stomach. That was all thanks to your care packages. In a food desert like the UK, I didn't lose any weight. In fact, I actually gained a few pounds. Seeing my bright smile made Brother Zhao feel quite emotional. The way you are right now, ... finally makes you look like the Li Chengxi I first met. He waved his hand dismissively after saying that. Forget it. I'm getting old. Why did I even bring that up? Now that you're back this time, are you planning to head back to the UK? I nodded. Director Alan's movie has already wrapped up. My trip back this time ... is just to attend the premiere here in China. Once that's over, I have promotional events in other countries to attend. My next movie is already lined up, too. Director Alan recommended me to a friend of his, so I'll probably be spending most of my time abroad from now on. Brother Zhao was thrilled ... that I was able to get a solid foothold in the international film industry. I was the very first artist he managed when he started out. He spent 4 years ... watching me, step by step, go from a complete rookie ... to winning Best Actor. As my manager ... he went from being a bit green and learning the ropes ... to becoming a seasoned pro who could handle everything seamlessly. You could say that when I left show business to marry Liu Ryan ... he was the most heartbroken of all. Not because he lost a moneymaker ... but because he hated to see all my hard work go to waste. In just 4 short years ... from rookie to Best Actor ... only he knew how much blood, sweat, and tears I put into it. Besides, when it came to acting ... my natural talent far surpassed most other actors. I literally lived and breathed acting. But as my friend ... he just wanted me to be happy. When he saw how much Liu Ryan loved me back then ... he thought I had found my soulmate. So instead of trying to talk me out of it ... he chose to give us his blessing. But nobody could have guessed ... that our marriage would only last 3 short years. I went through hell in that marriage ... losing my edge and my spark completely. But fortunately, 4 years later ... he is finally seeing the 20-year-old me again. He believed that, given time, Li Chengxing's name would definitely shine on the international stage. Once we got to the hotel, I collapsed onto the bed, completely exhausted. Brother Zhao kept glancing at me, looking like he had something to say. I rolled over and said, Brother Zhao, if there's something on your mind, just tell me. Brother Zhao hesitated for a moment, before finally speaking up. Chengxing, President Liu has been looking for you ever since you left. She didn't give up for 4 years. If you happen to run into her now that you're back ... 4 years. Hearing Liu Ryan's name again, I felt surprisingly calm. Our marriage ended a long time ago. To me, she is just someone I used to know. Besides, for this premiere, the hosting company is her Starlight Media. Director Alan asked me to discuss the details with Starlight, so she's bound to find out sooner or later anyway. Brother Zhao looked worried. What if President Liu apologizes and asks you to get back together with her? I knew Brother Zhao was worried I'd go soft and forgive Liu Ryan. I cleared my throat and reassured him, don't worry, Brother Zhao. My feelings for her completely vanished 4 years ago. Hearing my answer, Brother Zhao let out a sigh of relief. He told me to get some rest and then left. The exhaustion of the long flight washed over me, and I slept right through to the next day. I checked the time. It was almost time for Director Alan and Starlight Media's scheduled meeting. I quickly got ready and headed straight over. In the meeting room of Starlight Media, Liu Ryan glanced at her watch, tapping her fingers rhythmically on the table with her other hand. A heavy, tense energy radiated from her. As the scheduled meeting time had already arrived, hasn't anyone from Alan's side arrived yet? Just as the words left her mouth, a man's voice came from the doorway. Sorry, I'm late. The moment I pushed the door open, every single eye in the room locked onto me. In this entire company, who didn't know I was the ex-husband the boss could never get over? As for Liu Ryan, she had already frozen in her chair. Her heart seemed to stop. She didn't even dare to blink, terrified that this was just an illusion, and that I'd vanish in the next second. It wasn't until I gracefully took my seat that she finally realized this wasn't a dream. The person she had spent for long years yearning for day and night was finally back. My eyes only lingered on her for a single second before I politely greeted her. President Liu, it's been a long time. Hearing such a distant greeting sent a sharp pang straight through her chest. In those 4 years, she had imagined their reunion countless times. Maybe I'd still be angry. Maybe I'd refuse to see her at all. But never in her wildest dreams did she think I would be this cold and distant. Throughout the entire business meeting, she barely said a word. Her eyes were glued to me the entire time. But as for me, I effortlessly finalized all the details of our collaboration, completely unaffected by her presence. Once the contract was signed, the others read the room and quickly excused themselves. I grabbed my bag, getting ready to head back to the hotel. But she called out to stop me. Chen crossing. Aren't you going to give me an explanation? If you listen closely, her voice was trembling slightly. I let out a quiet sigh in my heart. What's meant to happen will happen. There was no running away from this. I looked at her and said in a calm, flat voice, President Liu, we've been divorced for years now. I don't owe my ex-wife any updates on my life. Seeing how calm I was, the usually proud Liu Ryan's eyes welled with tears. Her voice trembled with emotion as she spoke. But I never agreed to a divorce. I gave her a puzzled look. President Liu, you were the one who brought up the divorce in the first place. You drafted the agreement yourself, and you were the one who signed it. How is that not agreeing? My words left Liu Ryan completely speechless. It was true. She was the one who had initiated the divorce back then. She was even the first to sign her name on the papers. Now, she could only weakly offer the same excuse she had made 1,000 times before. I only wanted a fake divorce. I never actually wanted to separate from you. Liu Ryan was still the same as she was years ago, always spouting meaningless, empty words. I had no desire to get dragged into a messy argument with her. These days, my only focus was my acting career. Regardless, our divorce has long been a done deal. It has already been for years. You should let it go, President Liu. Stop living in the past. The version of me in her memory, the one whose eyes used to be filled with love for her, now showed nothing but coldness and detachment. A sharp, suffocating pain shot through Liu Ryan's chest. In a raspy, trembling voice, she choked out, Chen crossing ... I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken your love for granted and cheated on you so shamelessly. Please, forgive me ... I swear, from now on, you'll be the only one. The 7 years I spent with Liu Ryan, I didn't actually regret them. We really did share some genuinely beautiful memories. There was real love between us. It's just that, over time, that love withered away and turned sour. I, Li Chengxing, have always been someone who can let things go. I have long since made peace with her betrayal. There is no need to bring up the past anymore. My only hope now is that we can keep our relationship strictly professional. I don't want to be disturbed. With that, I stood up and walked away. Our first reunion as exes after 4 years ... ended just like that. Once I got back to the hotel, Alan gave me a call. Chen crossing. How did the meeting with Starlight Media go? Did everything go smoothly? I smiled. It went really well. The contract is already signed. Just waiting for the premiere in a week to finish. And then I'll head straight back to the UK. On the other end of the line, Alan let out a sigh of relief. Then, he added gossipily, hey, I heard ... The boss of Starlight Media is looking for her ... Missing husband. Did she find him? Alan had no idea. ... that Liu Ryan and I used to be married. I paused for a moment before replying. She did, but her husband has already decided to start a new life and leave the past behind. Alan let out a regretful sigh. Why is it that people only learn to cherish what they had after they've lost it? I didn't reply. After chatting with Alan about some other details for the premiere, I hung up the phone. Over the next week, aside from coordinating with Starlight Media about the premiere, I took some time to wander through the streets and alleys of this city. Having not been back here for years, I felt a little nostalgic. Whenever I walked down the street, I felt like someone was faintly following me from behind. I could pretty much guess who it was, but since they didn't show their face, I just pretended not to notice. On the day of the premiere, media outlets from all over the country, big and small, showed up. A former Best Actor making a comeback with his first film shot abroad. A topic with so much hype, was something they weren't about to miss. Once the movie screening ended, everyone in the venue was completely blown away. This movie was directed by Alan, and it took a full 4 years to perfect. It truly deserves to be called a masterpiece. At the venue, fellow filmmakers praised the movie highly, saying it is a film that could sweep every major international award. During the interview portion after the premiere, a reporter asked Mr. Cheng Sin Lee, "Back when you left showbiz at the height of your career, to marry Miss Ryan Liu, only for your marriage to fall apart 3 years later. Now that you've returned with such an incredible piece of work, I want to ask, do you regret marrying President Liu? If you hadn't gotten married back then, with your acting talent, you would probably already be a household name internationally. Tell us, do you feel that 3-year marriage was a mistake?" As soon as those words were spoken, every reporter's camera flashed, aiming right at me. Everyone was waiting for my answer, including Ryan Liu, who was standing off stage. Lately, she hadn't dared to show her face in front of me. She only dared to watch me from afar, standing way back in the crowd. The question the reporter asked was the exact answer she was dying to know as well. I thought about it for a few moments, and then, with a smile, I replied, "I have never regretted it, nor do I believe that marriage was a mistake. Miss Liu and I were truly in love back then. Our marriage, once brought me so many warm, tender moments. In my memory, it left an indelible mark. As for the relationship falling apart, I, Cheng Sin Lee, can accept that outcome. I have completely let it go now. To me, it was just a brief journey in my long life." That single quotes us all. Hearing my response, an overwhelming wave of regret completely engulfed Ryan. When she proposed to me, she had promised she would love only me for the rest of her life, and that her feelings would never, ever change. During the first year of our marriage, our home was filled with warmth and happiness. But ever since she slept with another man, the house grew quieter and colder, and her once bright smile completely vanished. Back then, Ryan didn't care at all. I only thought to myself, as long as I'm still her husband, that's enough. But I overlooked that what truly touched me back then was her pure heart and her deep love for me. Ryan knew that she could never win me back. The day after the premiere, I set off for the airport, preparing to head back to the UK. Just as I reached the gate, a breathless female voice called out from behind me, "Chen crossing, wait." I turned around and saw Ryan running toward me. I stopped in my tracks. This would probably be the last time we'd ever see each other. Is something wrong? Hearing me address her so distantly, Ryan still couldn't get used to it, but she no longer had the right to change that. She took out a bag, handed it to me, and said, "Please, take this. This was always yours to begin with." I frowned. I didn't remember leaving anything behind when I left. Seeing my guarded look, she gave a bitter smile and pulled the item out of the bag. It was a trophy. In an instant, I thought back to 4 years ago, to the gold and silver award that should have been mine. I looked at Ryan with a complicated expression. Ryan suppressed the bitterness in her heart, insisting on handing me the trophy. "Don't worry. This isn't the trophy I gave to JoJo Wang. I had someone remake this one. It was my fault back then. And because of me, you lost the glory that should have been yours. You're the one who should have been standing on that stage. Standing there, basking in everyone's admiring eyes. I ended up accepting it anyway, just to put an old obsession of mine to rest. Thank you." After taking the trophy, I rolled my suitcase and headed into the airport. Ryan just stood there, watching my retreating figure. Until I was completely out of sight. From then on, Ryan never stopped following the updates on my new movies. Every movie premiere I attended, she would be there to watch. She knew there was no longer any chance for us in this lifetime. But as long as she could still watch me from afar, that was enough.